Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're completely dismantling the middle class trap to uncover the true blueprint for wealth. We're going to look closely at the invisible rules that really govern our financial lives, break down exactly why standard advice just doesn't cut it anymore, and reveal the 5 laws that actually dictate lasting financial freedom.
Now, you've been lied to. And I don't mean by some cartoon villain or some shadowy elite. I mean by the very same people who raised you, taught you, and genuinely wanted the absolute best for you. They really meant well. They told you to work hard, save your money, and one day you'd be wealthy. But the reality? The system has fundamentally changed right beneath our feet.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Think about the script you were basically handed the moment you were born. You know the one. Go to school, get good grades, land a stable job, stash away 10% of your paycheck, and magically retire to some beach at 65. It's a dangerously incomplete script. I mean, it promised success and comfort, but for millions of super smart, hardworking people, following this to the letter has just led to pure exhaustion. And honestly, this contrast perfectly illustrates why the whole game feels completely rigged. The old rules were written during an old economy, back when a single income could actually buy a house, raise 3 kids, and lock down a solid pension. But our modern reality? Inflation just eats your raises right up. Interest rates stay low. You hustle harder and harder. Your free time literally disappears, but your bank account barely budgets. The rules you're playing by just don't match the modern economy anymore. The finish line keeps moving on us. Now, the wealthy aren't necessarily smarter or luckier than you. They just learned a different set of rules. So here are the exact 5 laws we're going to walk through today to escape this trap: the wealth ratio, buying back time, income-generating assets, your unfair advantage, and wealth as flow. Starting with Law 1, the wealth ratio. We've got to completely let go of this idea of just chasing a high income and embrace a major paradigm shift. The absolute most dangerous middle-class myth out there is that a higher income automatically equals more wealth. It absolutely doesn't. Look, you can earn $50,000, but if you're spending $48,000, you are literally just $2,000 away from going broke every single month. But if you earn $30,000 and only spend $15,000, you are building real wealth, and you're doing it a whole lot faster. It all comes down to the sheer power of keeping what you earn. Because you see, wealth actually isn't a number. Wealth is the gap between what you earn and what you need to survive. That gap, that margin, is exactly where true financial freedom lives. But it's constantly under attack by something the wealthy call lifestyle creep. You know how it goes. You get a bump in salary, you buy a new car. You get a promotion, you upgrade to a bigger apartment. It feels like progress while it's happening, right? But it's silently draining your margin. So how do we actually fight this? Well, the rule is surprisingly simple. Freeze your lifestyle for 6 to 12 months every single time your income increases. Seriously, I strongly advise you to protect that margin like it's oxygen, because financially speaking, it is. Resist the urge to buy that new car or that bigger apartment the very second you get a raise. Build the ratio first, widen that gap, and trust me, everything else will follow. Which brings us to Law 2, buying back time. Now, this law really pushes back against our whole cultural obsession with status symbols. Here's the thing. Luxury is the reward, but leverage is the tool. We are totally wired to chase social approval through the stuff we own. You know, the car, the watch, the clothes. But if you're out there financing a luxury lifestyle on a leveraged income, you aren't actually wealthy, you're just performing wealth. The crucial point here is that you cannot get to the real reward if you skip building the mandatory tool first. So let's define leverage real quick. Leverage is getting results without trading your hours for them. It's the totally conscious act of stopping the trade of your precious hours for dollars and instead using systems, using tools, or even using other people's time. Every single hour you spend manually doing something that you could easily pay someone else to do for less than your time is worth, you are literally losing money. Let me hit you with a hard truth using a real-world example. -$70. Think about it. If your time is worth $50 an hour, and you spend 3 grueling hours doing your own taxes just to save $80, well, you didn't actually save anything. You lost $70. You basically just told the universe your time is worth less than minimum wage. Wealthy people obsessively buy back their time so it can compound and be reinvested into things that create real, lasting freedom. Moving on to Law 3, income-generating assets. Let's see how this all builds, because this right here is the absolute core of it all, owning things that make money while you're fast asleep. The contrast is just staggering. Think about your standard W-2 paycheck for a second. Its nature is super fragile and entirely time-dependent. If you stop showing up to work, the money stops coming. It's heavily taxed, and its value stops the exact second you do. But asset income, that works while you sleep. It's taxed at lower rates, and it naturally builds equity over time. The wealthy get richer specifically because their assets are working all those hours they don't have to. And honestly, the best part, you don't even need to be rich to start doing this. Index funds, single-unit rentals, digital products, maybe a small stake in a business. It doesn't really matter which one you pick. What actually matters is that you redirect that margin you built back in Law 1 into assets that compound. You start small, you build the machines, and then you just let the machines run. Next up is Law 4, your unfair advantage. You know, the most common mistake I see people make when trying to build wealth is just trying to copy-paste someone else's blueprint. You see someone crushing it in real estate, so you figure, hey, I'll try that. But you're stepping into a game they designed, using resources you don't even have. Instead, I really want you to ask yourself this directly. What do people actually come to me for? What specific problems do I solve naturally, almost without even thinking about it? Where do I have insight that others would gladly pay for? Your unique leverage point, your true unfair advantage, is basically just your unique skills plus your lived experience plus your network. Focusing intensely on that exact intersection gives you a combination of perspective and access that literally nobody else has. We've got to stop trying to clone someone else's blueprint, because in a world full of copycats, the original is always going to win out. And finally, Law 5, wealth as flow. We really need to stop looking at wealth as some static destination or just a magical number in a bank account. Wealth is not a mountain. It's a river. Just let that metaphor sink in for a second. A mountain is an endpoint. But wealth moves. It has to flow in, and crucially, it has to flow out if you want it to be sustained. Now, here's the part that usually surprises people. Giving is a mandatory part of that system. Intentional, highly strategic giving actually signals abundance straight to your subconscious. It increases your financial confidence, it builds way stronger networks, and it literally eliminates the fear of losing money. When you give, you fundamentally alter your relationship with wealth. You're upgrading your internal identity from one of scarcity to one of complete abundance, proving to yourself that, yeah, you have more than enough to share. Ultimately, breaking out of this trap isn't just about throwing some new financial tactics at the wall. It requires a complete identity upgrade. You have to make the shift from the middle-class identity of being a careful, conservative consumer and employee who just manages money over to the wealthy identity, a risk-taking, abundance-minded builder and owner. Because until your identity changes, your old beliefs are going to override every single new strategy you try. So I'm going to leave you with a bit of a provocative challenge today. Open your calendar right now. Take a look at your last 7 days. How many hours did you spend just trading your time for money? And how many hours did you spend actually building something that works without you? I'm demanding this immediate calendar audit from you because it's going to force action. Believe me, that audit will tell you more about your actual financial future than your bank statement ever will. The wealthy don't sit around waiting for the perfect moment. They audit, they adjust, and they move. Now it's your turn. Go move.